Ryan, you there? You can hear us? We can hear you.
Yes, I can hear everybody just fine.
It doesn't sound...
Jesse sounds a little distant, but
Oh, yeah.
everybody else sounds good.
Oh, he's a little away
Yeah.
from the mic.
I'm like Marta. I've been distant.
View my channel.
There you go,
Live.
Jesse. Now you sound like right up on my business.
Amateur Hour, episode 10. No views. Damn, dude.
Are we gonna send out a stream?
It's okay, dude. We're not doing...
Can you send one to Kiara?
Yeah,
She requested.
Yep.
We should send one to Mike, too. He's back in the States.
Yep.
That's right.
Play next in queue, dude. That's...
I finally just got a hold of him today.
I saw him and Francesca at Cacao the other night.
No.
The last one. We missed you, Ryan. I know. You weren't. It wasn't a thing that you were going to be able to come to, but...
Yeah, Ryan, why didn't you make the 400-mile drive to Cacao?
Dude,
I would've
Ryan,
made
you
5-mile drive.
you really should have come to Canada, pal.
Oh, I am very interested to hear about it.
Did you hear they just had a huge Abbey up there that...
Yeah, killed
the
snowboarders, right?
Yeah, the owner of that really famous heli outfit.
Yeah, I think I saw a bunch of industry people like posting.
Yeah.
Like, all right, hold on.
Avi Danger high recently, hey? You guys see Mammoth's Avi the other day? Avalanche yesterday?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we did. All right, hold on. We started the stream.
But
We're
we're pretty
gonna
sure
do an intro real quick, and then we'll talk about
we're
this.
pretty
How
sure
about
that was Harp.
Yeah. But welcome everyone to Amateur Hour. This is a show about West Coast surfing and skiing. It's David, Jesse, and Jake over there. What up?
Welcome, loyal followers, listeners. If you're tuning
Don't
in,
forget me, dude, the
on
ghost.
Oh,
I like note we didn't correct him either. We're just like, yep, just the three of us.
and we got Ryan dialing in, which is pretty chill. Ryan, when you're on the yacht, are we going to hit you up on satellite phone, sat phone?
I mean, I'll bring it all. I'll bring everything.
That'd be pretty tight if you came at us from a yacht.
Dude, we'll be primetime hurricane season, it sounds like.
Oh, dude, we can get on the scene reporting.
Exactly.
are
I'll
you
tell you what Harp is up to.
are you going to be actually like sailing on the yachts, or more just like when they're in harbor cleaning, or
Oh,
what?
it's going to be shipyard.
Okay, nice.
So that boat will be dry.
Does that harken you back to your shipyard days and the
Those were great.
cutting your teeth in the Costa Mesa shipyards?
My favorite job was when I went to go clean the ships, and I got to clean out the fridge, which was usually filled with all sorts of alcoholic beverages.
Yeah, that is a good thing about it, is you just kind of get to clean everything out.
Yep, and so I would help myself to an unlimited amount of those, and eventually, I guess, clean the boat.
Yeah, I mean,
Get
you,
to it
you did a good
eventually.
job.
I spent the first 2 hours, my first day cleaning a boat. I had raided a lot of the fridge, so I was already a little woozy. And Wayne's specific instructions were to clean the isinglass, but I didn't know what isinglass was. So I was like stumbling around the boat, and finally I like breached through the top, and I yelled to some other like dude on another boat who was like doing work. I was like, "Where's the isinglass?" He's like, "It's the loose like the see-through plasticky oh, okay.
They should call it see-through plastic.
Yeah.
Glass. All right, but yeah, so we're all here. Well, not all of us. Ryan is based out of June, but we haven't done an episode in
It's been a few weeks, yeah. Since then, mammoth snow totals have been climbing, although I think I may be on track for the closest. Although Dave's at 300, so maybe not.
Yep.
Depends on what April has in store.
We have to decide what rules we're playing by for the
Well,
snowfall totals.
End of season.
Well, yeah, but should we be playing Price is Right rules? Like as soon as it's over 280, are you out?
I think it's whoever's closest
Okay.
Yeah.
in total.
Okay.
So if 291, I'm done.
All right.
But
Is include the melting effect of the snow?
No, so
No.
right now we're at 248
Now,
for the
granted,
season.
they're saying this AR activity in April could start warm, then cold, or it could go cold, cold, warm, warm, or warm, cold. Like, there's different models. So if it goes warm, warm, it may.
My favorite is warm, cold, warm, warm, cold.
Yeah, well, we'll see. But
Cold, cold, cold,
that'll
cold.
impact
Yeah,
how much of
let's
the.
go fucking cold. It's
Well,
been
warm,
so
cold, right?
hot.
That's the best.
T-shirt
Yeah.
today.
What? Say it again, Ryan.
Said it was so hot today. I was in a t-shirt all day today.
It's weird. It was cool
A
down
crop
here.
top.
It was a
Just
cold
regular
Orange
tea.
County day for or early spring, right?
Yeah, I think
It's
so.
chilly.
Ryan's
Overcast.
coming to us from June Lake, everyone. So
Yeah.
that's why wearing a T-shirt is a big deal for him.
Which does June Lake even exist? I think it's just a mythical place.
It
Love it.
is. It kind of is. It's like the Rivendell
Yeah.
for, it's this mythical place that some people have heard about but never seen.
Yeah, I've heard talk of it, but
And it's got some history to it too, That's a little mythical as well.
what's the myth? What's the
Just the ancient park, it being like a park mountain, being
Oh,
one
yeah.
of the first mountains to allow snowboarders to use chairlifts and snowboard on their mountain.
They held, I forget what year that was, but Grenade held the
Grenade games, right?
The grenade games, yep.
in June, and I don't think the June locals were that hyped on it.
I don't think the grenade games were like welcome back to a lot of places, right?
No.
There's a
Yeah.
I didn't know this too. I did a little more research when our parents, well, since deceased neighbor Bud Hayward owned it. He owned it until like the late 80s.
Really?
He didn't sell it to Dave McCoy till like the late 80s.
Yeah. So I talked to Rob Mayer,
Yeah.
and he said he patrolled the year before Mammoth bought it. And
He
the year
patrolled it June.
after. Yeah, he patrolled it June.
Oh,
The year before Mammoth bought it, and the year after Mammoth bought it, and that was 86, 87.
And apparently Bud Hayward was actually really good friends with Dave McCoy. I didn't know that. I mean, I guess it makes sense. Probably a pretty small community
yeah.
up there, like throughout the 60s and 70s and 80s. But
Wait, did you, Ryan, you talked to Rob recently?
Well, I got this info last year, but last time I seen Rob is a storm chaser.
I know. And he's a June,
June storm
Whoa.
chaser. If
Yeah.
there's a storm, he's coming to
they say,
June.
"Don't worry about me. I'm just the garbage man."
Do you know Rob? Yeah. Rob's a
Rob's a
cool
G.
dude.
Yeah, he was
And
my
He's
instructor.
legit. He's
Oh,
legit.
junior guards.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he is legit, and he loves June. I think if there's a
Yeah.
good June day, Rob is going to be up there.
Oh, I mean, if there is a potential of a June day, Rob is here.
Yeah.
And to be honest, you can't really screw up at June, especially if you're a storm chaser. If there is a storm, June is pretty sweet.
I'm not thinking either of the wrong person, right? Rob, after he did like seasonal guards, and then he did the compacting service.
yeah.
Yep.
Kansas
Yes.
City.
Yeah.
Ryan, you're
Yeah.
such a company man for June.
I mean, I just love the chillness.
If,
I mean, I agree. I
I
like
was
June
going to
as
say,
well.
if David is saying that you're a company man for June, you know that you're a company man for June. I
But
think
you
that-
should hear yourself.
But it is cool to think like Mammoth bought June and didn't do what think of all the other resorts that once they got bought became corporate. Like you got to give Altera, I guess, credit. They haven't done that to June. Like when Kirkwood got bought by Vail, or was it Vail?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's no longer it's like
Have you been back and snowboarded, Kirkwood?
no, but at least judging by people's descriptions of it, it's changed dramatically.
Yeah.
It's far more expensive. Like the vibes, it seems like June for the most part has kind of been left untouched.
For anyone watching that doesn't know, I think Kirkwood used to have the vibe of being a pretty chill South Lake Tahoe ski
Oh,
resort.
it was chill, all right.
They did not. They kind of refused to check tickets as a point of pride. They just wouldn't check
Don't want to
tickets.
inconvenience our guests. Whether or not they're paying is not important.
So you could easily invite
I don't like to
friends
discuss
up
money.
to Kirkwood and just be like, you don't need a ticket. No one's going to check it.
No, there was
Which
nothing.
is so crazy to think about. I
No,
guess that's
it
a long time
wasn't
ago
quite
now.
to that extreme though, because I remember in the parking lot, like scoping it and waiting for the ticket person to leave. But they oftentimes were unattended.
I think-
feel like right.
But couldn't you argue the same thing with June?
No, well, they have the scanners now. That's just
Everywhere's got RFID now.
It's different
But
now.
now June is you can't go anywhere. I mean, like if you got up, you could lap 7, I guess. But that's it. Lap 7 and 4.
But June was always checking tickets at the base, right?
I mean, I guess they were. There was always the.
I always remember
we
them
were
checking tickets.
It wasn't too many years ago that June didn't have the RFID.
no,
though.
but they were scanning.
They were
them
scanning
with a handheld.
passes
Yeah.
and tickets maybe like 7, 8 years ago.
Kirkwood is the only resort I've ever been to where this happened with David. It happened with Julie, with multiple friends. It would
No
just be
scanning.
like, you don't need to buy a ticket. You can just show up, and we're gonna get on the lift, and like, they're just it's not a priority for them to check tickets.
I mean, to the point where that was the plan when we went when we did that when I did that with you. But I do remember though, like
Yeah.
scoping it
Yeah.
and like I think we might have had to wait for like the gun guy to leave.
he was so inconvenienced. He had to wait like 3 minutes
But-
for the lifty to scan 4 tickets. I'm like,
But isn't
F
that
this.
crazy?
No, but I imagine though there had like one gun guy between whatever all the lower mountain or whatever, or that guy was just got over it and was like, dude, I gotta go chill.
I'll tell you, for my 3
Yeah.
months of being a Kirkwood lifty, I never scanned a single
Yeah.
ticket.
Imagine being a J1 lifty.
The amount of like, I think J1 Lifty is probably a pretty
That's-
solid intersection of like babysitting and
But that's also the senior lift operator position.
yeah.
I can see that because you want to keep that lift. If there's one lift you want to keep running on the mountain, that's it.
Another thing that
Yeah.
made Kirkwood
You
unique
gotta be able to bump it.
was their willingness back then to spin lifts in absolutely horrid conditions,
Yeah.
where there'd be no like there's no excuse for like spinning. There would be days where there was 50 to like 60 mile per hour winds with higher gusts and stuff would be spinning.
Yeah.
You know, you'd like put someone on the lift and literally they'd be at like a crazy angle with gusts of wind. It's like, should we really be?
And it never had no chairs fall off.
Nope.
I mean, Jesse, that's just the Eastern Sierras, okay?
You ever heard of the Donner Party?
You ever heard of the Donner Party?
I think the safety
From the signs at Kirkwood.
standards were far more.
I learned about it
lax.
from a Mammoth employee. But speaking of lift and pass enforcement, did you see that I think Palisades had the sheriffs at the resort monitoring and enforcing, like they're worried that people are like sharing passes or doing stuff, so they had the sheriff on site.
What a waste of taxpayer dollars.
Isn't that crazy?
Dang. Trying
You know-
to catch
You know what?
fraud.
But
Yep.
you think of how crazy it is. If you need help with someone like stealing from your small business, it takes heaven and earth to get the cops out there. You know, like we don't have time for this. But if it's a big corporation that's losing profits, it's like they're right there, ready to
Yeah.
protect and serve. What a scam!
Yeah.
I will keep poached until I die.
Speaking of poachers, June had some big news today. Canyon Trail and Face Runs closed.
Ooh.
For the
Ooh.
season.
Maybe not this season, but for
Until the
For-
next storm.
for the future, let's
Well,
just say.
When you clock 210 inches in a season or whatever they've got, that's no surprise.
Yeah, we are hurting.
Hey, but June said they're going to be open until 4:20,
4:20.
right?
Yeah, 420.
It's definitely a magic date in the
What if,
snow.
But
what if
Did you-
Ryan tried to convert his snowfall total into no, I was just guessing the closing date of June.
yeah,
And I nailed
Duh.
it right on.
Well, let's all guess the closing date.
I
Yeah.
think they'll make it to 420. There's some storms lined up.
yeah. I mean, on open snow, it looks like possibly 2 feet on the horizon.
Ooh.
2 feet would get us right now to what? To low 270s at Mammoth.
I
And
might
Jesse
be in
would be
biz.
quaking in his boots then.
You
Coming
know
down
there's
to
going
the
to be some
wire.
stuff in
In
May.
May.
They'll pick up another foot.
Maybe
I
not
think
though.
David's... you never know.
If you had to guess right now, if everyone had to go around and guess what the season total at Mammoth was going to be,
I
would you
think,
change your answer at all?
yeah, I would bump myself up to like the 293, 295 range because I think they'll pick up a couple feet in these April storms, and then there'll be another 10, 12 inches to round them off.
I don't know if it'll get up to 290.
Would you change your guess from 300, Davey?
Maybe down to 290.
I think I would
There's
come
no way I would.
substantially off at 330. Ryan's holding strong at 420. Hold the line, Ryan.
Hey, you never know. They've had 160-inch Aprils before.
But not on years like this, though, is the problem.
Yeah.
I doubt it.
Hey, how do you know, dude? How many winners were influenced by harp? You know.
I don't know. We'd have to get the other Jesse on the show.
Who's the other Jesse?
Yeah,
Jesse Ventura.
the
Oh,
body.
dude,
He
that Jesse Ventura is one of
He
my
knows
favorite
he knows
public
all about harp.
personalities.
Wait, which Jesse did we get then tonight?
Not
Fuckbot.
Jesse Ventura.
Jesse,
The body, if you're listening, you're always welcome on this show.
Jesse Santa Monica.
I almost wrote in Jesse Ventura for president.
Yeah, it's been a pretty average season. Actually, a little below average, but that's okay. There was 2 good ones prior, so all's fair.
What's it feel like working up there, Ryan? The difference between like last year, which was probably, not like crazy, but just, probably pretty good.
Yeah,
Versus a year
last
like-
year definitely started very weak and ended very strong.
Is
This year started very strong, struggled, and then sporadically refilled itself to like, okay, we can do this, we can make it. And now it has just the feelings of like, we're just trying to hang on. Like today, I had to salt Canyon Trail to like hopefully keep it together.
And that's why it's closed, because you salted it.
It's not closed because I salted it. It's closed because there's some giant dirt patches.
Someone took a shit on Canyon Trail.
Yeah, dude. And
Wait, is Canyon
I
Trail
mean-
the road?
there's something going on right now in the Eastern Sierras. Yesterday there was a rock slide at Mammoth, and today we had a rock slide on Canyon Trail.
There's an eruption due in Alaska soon. I saw that. It's imminent.
Yeah, just in time
Yeah,
for my
we-
trip there.
You going to Alaska
We-
on a cruise ship? Though?
Boulder
But I'm flying
roll
over
on the
Anchorage.
Canyon Trail.
Wait, what? The Canyon
Middle
Trail?
of the day.
Is that the road that comes down? The cat
Yeah,
track?
that's that little cat track, Canyon Trail.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Do you think they're
probably
coincide?
like 300 pound boulder rolled into the middle of Canyon Trail.
Did it strip snow with it? Did it take the good snow with it?
I mean, it probably left a giant dent in there.
Did it
but
have moss?
No, it was
Oh,
it
that's
was
true.
boulder.
Yeah. So there was a What do you know? What do you know about the giant rock slide at Mammoth? Did that happen when the resort was open?
Yeah. So what I know is that happened at around 1:00.
Oof, in the middle of the day.
Yeah, right under. It was right next to the Paranoids under. Hold on.
It looked like
think it-
just like in between Paranoids and like White Bark Bowl. That big like
Star
rock.
Shoot.
Do you think they should have put the
Yeah.
bar down?
It was called Star Shoot, yeah, and it was skiers right. And from what it looked like, it sent some giant fucking boulders,
Oh, it looked
like
gnarly.
rock boulders, and then some like gnarly chunder.
It's a wonder
down.
that, or it's amazing that nobody was like traversing under there.
It looked like you would not have been able to come close to outrunning it had it been close to you. You would have been done. Now that whole area, both to the left and right of that has slid before to the point where they've had the whole town out there looking for people. Remember that?
Yeah, but that was like avalanches.
Yeah.
This was like rock. I
Well, this
think.
turned into an avalanche,
Yeah.
Yeah, this turned into an avalanche.
but that. When was that? That was a long
The
time ago.
climax.
There was a huge
slide.
slide that broke through, and miraculously no one was buried. But they had the whole town out there, like looking for people for like the rest of the day.
It might have been like
Think you're
2007, maybe.
That was a long time
or
ago.
something. But
No,
yeah,
I think it was later, because they talk about it in our rookie class.
all right. Well, we're on a no fact check night, so we can't look. We can't.
Yeah,
Yeah, we don't want to waste our time.
2000.
But
It was in the late 2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a terrific slide. This
Yeah, it went like from Upper Dry Creek all the way, like climax down Upper Dry Creek, almost to Chair 5. And they had to run a probe line all the way up just to make sure nobody was buried.
I would have been fine. I have Reco.
Yeah, Reco is a body
Rekka will do it.
That's all you need. You don't need a beacon.
I also brought my beacon to Revy, but didn't wear it at all.
Yeah, I brought.
Yeah, you should definitely wear beacons. So in our avalanche, what we essentially do in an avalanche protocol, the first thing we do is a beacon check. So we'll run through the area with beacons. The second thing we'll do is a reco with dogs. And you have to essentially that will take the longest amount of time.
Well, it's
Mm.
good for recovering people's
Oh.
bodies.
Dude, we looked up some interesting Avi facts that I forgot
I
the
don't know if we can
specifics of
remember any
them.
of them.
But we did. We knew them at one point.
We intuited them, I think, though.
You did. I was wrong.
I think you were right about.
David, you were wrong. You just took your Avi wand.
This was like statistics and stuff, dude. This isn't like
We were discussing
hands-on
the likely.
dick in the snow type of stuff. This is like
Yeah,
Whoa.
nerd book avalanche nerd. stuff.
this is nerd stuff.
We were talking about how often, people at resorts.
How often avalanches happen in the resorts in the Eastern Sierra?
Yeah,
I also didn't make that strong of a claim. I was like, I don't know how right I am about
There's
this.
been
but-
numerous fatalities.
How many do you think per year?
in the Eastern Sierra?
No, just in the what was it? California? Was it California?
in the nation.
In the nation?
Yeah,
I don't know. I
In
would
resorts.
I would
Resort?
average in resort bounds.
Yeah.
Probably.
Wait, how many are triggered, or how many?
How many
are-
people? How many inbound fatalities at U.S. ski resorts
6?
in a year on average?
Yeah.
Way too high.
4?
I think it's less than that. I think it's on average less than one a year. Inbounds.
Oh.
Inbounds?
Yeah. Inbounds fatalities.
It's right below one a year, I think.
Yeah.
It's crazy because I can
Wasn't
think of
there,
quite a few right off the top of my head that have happened
Yeah,
over the
but
years just
there
in
were, a couple
California
last
resorts, but
year.
I guess that makes sense. There's just
There was
not.
definitely one this year.
What's the one that happened this year?
The patroller.
I don't know if that might not have been in the data for working professionals. I think it was resort guests
Oh.
in the data.
Squaw patrollers have died in Avies
Yeah.
over the last.
I can't remember now actually though if that was
I
Well,
think it
wasn't
might have
there-
been,
okay.
There was
maybe it
one in Tahoe last year at Squall, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
but this was also from 2021 or something.
There was a guy that died about 8, 9 years ago at Donner. Or what's that teeny one? He got buried on a big day, and no one even knew he got buried. They didn't find him till the next day.
Yeah.
But you're right. It seems like it'd be rare. Oh, did you? Okay. How many? Just period. 10? 8? I'm going with 8.
In the US?
Yeah.
Oh no, it's way more than that, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Like 40.
It's
40?
Anywhere from high 20s to high 40s or low 50s. I
Jeez.
don't know what the average is. Average is probably mid 30s. But that's not just skiers or
That's
snowboarders. Too. That's
snowmobilers.
snowmobilers, snowshoers.
Oftentimes, it seems like snowmobiles rack up the most per occurrence.
The document though that we found when we were troubleshooting this was while we were driving to Revi. and it was kind of cool. I think it was from Montana State University, which has like a pretty solid like avalanche program, like I think a master's program in like avalanche science, and it had a bunch of data as far as like, you know, where these tend to happen, and then like the average, obviously, like slope angle, aspect, time after a storm, and then like a user profile. And so it's like the average person is like a 27-year-old male snowboarder, or I don't know.
No, it was written in a way that said like you're a snowboarder with friends without avalanche beacon in the Tahoe backcountry,
Yeah.
and you're the most likely to get kind of like.
That was us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
Totally.
I remember we went and did a jump day, and I still think like it was probably fine, but like we weren't thinking about avalanches at all.
That area is very avalanche
Isn't that
prone
nuts?
too. Carson Pass.
That's like going
Yeah,
to
and-
the beach,
What?
and like that's like going to the beach and being a totally beginner, being like, there ain't nothing wrong out here. I'm going for a surf. The surf looks like it's pumping.
Although
Yeah.
I will say the part of Carson Pass we were on, the only area we could even kicked off an avalanche, since we just went down that little slope, then pretty much all flat, then jump. Unless you kicked off an Avi right where you landed, we were doing like backyard snowboarding there.
It is funny though. I mean, I feel like we've done this in a number of things where like if you're getting into a sport, a thing, and you don't really know enough yet to know that you're putting yourself in danger, so you're like kind of unknowingly potentially taking like, you know, big risks without knowing.
I would
it.
argue any rock climb with David Pearson.
Well,
We love you, David.
I think
Anyone letting me belay them? I mean, good God.
That's
when we first started, when we were first starting climbing, I remember sessions out at the Riverside Rock Quarry.
Just
where
learn our way through
where
this.
Jesse would be yelling at you while you were climbing, and you'd just be like, "Don't do it! You look sketchy. I don't know if I got you." It's just not the most confidence inspiring to hear as you were setting up the climb.
I'll tell you, the worst possible thing is trying to make a hard move, at least a hard move for you, and looking at your belayer, repositioning as belay device to smoke a bowl. You got me? Yep. You sure?
Yeah,
Because it looks like you're holding the rope with two fingers on only one hand. Nope, you're good. Oh, with a ATC. I guess the most important detail.
those were the days.
We should get some beers before we climb. Are you sure?
No, you know what? 99 bananas.
Did that actually
That always
happen?
made me
Oh, all the
nervous, too.
time. I've almost every time I went, and I do love David Pearson. He's awesome. But I think every time we went climbing at Talk Eats on the way out there, he would be coming off of like a gnarly, like, you know, a 48-hour like EMT shift. And he'd be like, we got to stop at a liquor store, and he'd get a bunch of like the single shot 99 bananas, and then we'd hit Talk Eats.
Yeah.
But so
Well-
there's it, yeah. Like when you're getting into something, unless you like the way that we got into stuff, you just kind of like hope that you don't make a really big mistake
Or you
early
don't-
on, and you're probably taking some risk without even knowing it.
Oh yeah. Especially when it comes to like Avi danger.
I was thinking drug smuggling.
But the Avi danger, I don't know. Rock climbing mirrors that, I guess. But the Avi danger, it shocks me how many incredibly experienced people succumb to them. It's like it's not that there's not a understanding of how risky it is, but yet it's like on one hand there's all this talk about like how to best mitigate risk, and you know, it's like doing everything, but then it's like year after year more and more like insanely experienced people get taken down, and it's not even under the most like crazy circumstances. They're not trying like insanely hard technical stuff.
It almost
just-
makes you wonder.
But when I think the problem is that
powder
it's
fever.
so hard. Yeah, it's so hard to be objective when it's good snow, and you're just like, well, just a little bit, you know.
Yeah, and I feel like they're also skiing just the most insane technical terrain too, where
And they're putting themselves in the line of fire way more frequently. even if it's not technical terrain, they're just out in the mountains in avalanche terrain day after day after day.
I think heli-skiing for that reason is probably the most dangerous of all the backcountry skiing pursuits, because like I feel like if you go to a place that does a cat, like there's boots on the ground more that has a better feel for the snow. Like when you go
Yeah.
heli-skiing, okay, yeah, they have guides, but it's like you see time and time. At the end of the day, they're dropping you on top of a peak, and
Yeah.
you're just going down it, right? I mean, they may have dug some pits up high, but they don't know. They haven't analyzed the conditions of the snow from top to bottom.
Yeah.
How do you do
Well,
that?
they probably skied
You
it the
probably
day
ski-
before.
well,
You ski it, right? And it doesn't go the first time.
But the guides ski it probably, all the time.
Yeah, maybe they ski
feel
it
like-
first
and they're,
before
like,
they even picked up
tracking the
clients real
weather.
quick.
But there's also the like first track aspect if they're doing it for a video, like
Yeah.
all of that stuff. Like,
It just seems far more dangerous than going up a mountain,
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
hiking up a mountain, and continually assessing the snowpack as you go.
But I wonder, as a percentage,
They just had
There's no way
three
of-
guys die in Alaska, buried in that heli-skiing operation.
yeah, but people die backcountry ski, like on the uphill all the time too. In the mountains, I wonder what is actually riskier. As a percentage of people that do it. Obviously, there's definitely less people that,
Canada
heli-ski.
just had those other three.
yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah, I feel like now, probably all of us take way less risks in the backcountry. We're just doing it way less frequently now too. But you just get a little bit of knowledge, and you definitely scale back, I think, what you're willing to go.
Do you think you were ever snowboarding or skiing throughout your times on a day that you had no business?
Yeah.
Really?
In the backcountry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it was like insane.
J-
Or
in
high.
Good enough. Like high enough risk. Yeah.
I don't ever feel like I could be wrong, but I don't really feel like I ever was snowboarding on a day that was like very high AVI danger. I
Were you ever-
personally, outside of the day that you kicked off that small one at Mammoth, I've seen cracks and stuff, but I'm not off to a good start, I guess. But I've never,
heavy wumping. But I mean, nothing crazy.
but I've never really kicked off anything alarming
But-
myself.
Yeah.
Not
It
that that's
doesn't
a good.
need-
What?
What's
It
that?
doesn't need to be alarming. It needs to essentially be enough to pick you up off your feet.
I've definitely kicked off stuff like that that could take me over terrain, but
Yeah, I'm used to making
Well,
heavy slough calls.
Or even just put you in entrapments.
Hey, do you know we saw Travis Rice?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah,
Yep.
I bumped into him at a local Revy coffee shop.
Literally.
But
Dude,
accidentally bumped into him.
hey, we went to the natural selection tour. We saw the contest.
Nice.
It was pretty tight.
hiked
It was
out
really
there.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
should we
Yeah, let's talk about Canada.
morph this
Let's
in?
talk about that.
Dude,
No.
Canada was sick.
David's first time to the Great White North.
Yep.
Did
Yep.
they boo you guys?
We're gonna make a video of it. Took a ton of video.
Yep.
I got a bunch of pictures. No, I definitely met a couple of like vocal pro Trumper Canadians, which was chill. And then like there was a wide spectrum of opinions. The most obnoxious people though were like the two like 20-year-olds from Washington that I got on the lift and I went to put the bar down, and they're like, that must be a Canadian thing. We don't do that in the States. And I was like, I'm from California. I just like to have the bar down.
We're not in the States any longer.
But I
Bar
thought,
down here.
I thought, dude, what a sick dig if I was Canadian, dude. To be like, can you imagine if somebody got on the lift with you and they're like, oh, that must be a California thing.
So I think it is a Canadian thing though. The bar goes down every time. If it's Canadians on the chairlift.
I mean, if you think about it, there's no real reason to have it up. What
Yeah.
are you really saving?
Your dignity.
Yeah, your
dignity.
dignity and pride.
Yeah. No, I agree. If the moment that talk
It's
is
like wearing
What if the
seatbelt.
thing abruptly stopped? I mean, there's just no
Yep.
real good reason. It's like not wearing a seatbelt. Really?
yeah.
Or what if a tree falls on the lift?
Yeah, are there any circumstances where it would be better to not have the bar down?
Maybe you're trying to impress
If
a
the
girl.
hey,
You're being
if the lift in front of you
off
is sliding
there.
back at you and you can jump off to get away from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're at that ski resort in Georgia, you want the bar
Nah,
up.
I still think you would want the bar. I don't know.
But so okay. But so we this was like what, a week and a half ago now. We went to Canada. We actually flew. We missed you, Ryan. It would have been awesome to have you, but we'll get another one of these years with you. But we had a solid crew of people, 6 of us total, I think. But 5 of us all kind of together. Matt,
2 years
Jason,
from now, we'll have to go back.
Lizzie, David,
That'll
and
be my
myself.
time frame.
And
And Hank.
we met Hank up there.
Oh yeah,
But so we flew into Spokane.
same flight.
And,
That was fun.
Got in late, and then drove drove back roads. I don't know why.
Dude, it was so funny.
I mapped it, and it had us like on all these tiny back roads. Like it was the same distance from the airport, but instead of being on a regular highway, we just took these crazy farm
To the
roads.
border?
No, to the small like town on 395 called Colville, and then we had an Airbnb there and just basically like slept the
Dude,
night.
it was comical. I kept waiting for the roads to like get on the highway, and every single time it was like stop sign onto another like country road.
It was actually kind of weird. We were going to this like it was basically just a stopover, like to sleep, and then the next morning we were waking up to drive across the border because we got in super late at night.
You
probably
rented a car?
Yeah, which was a bone of contention because you know when you rent a car and it tells you like it's going to be this or similar.
Yeah.
So it said Chevy Traverse or similar. And the last time that we went to Canada, we had a Chevy Traverse and it was sick. And this time we showed up and it was not a Chevy Traverse. It was similar. And similar was a Jeep Grand Cherokee that sat 7 people. But the configuration of the seats made it so like it was tight. Like with
It was all right. I mean, I don't
it
think
was
it
all
was
right,
that
but
bad.
it was tight.
All 6 people were in it?
5.
Oh,
5 people, and then
your gear.
5 people would have been fine, but it was 5 big ski and board bags that we had to like shove in there, so it was a little tight. But yes, we got
I
to
think I wasn't there.
what's we would have had to get 2 cars.
But you weren't going to be in that car anyways, Ryan. Let's be real.
Yeah, Brian.
You were going to come afterwards. You were going to fly up and meet us there.
But so when we were going to the Airbnb that we were staying in this first night, I made a wrong turn and drove up to these people's like this is like eastern northern Washington, like a compound, and it's like raining, muddy roads. We're like coming up. I'm like, is this like right? And there's like does not look like it's an Airbnb property. And as we're driving by, David's like, it's like wait, it's probably 1 a.m. It's raining, windy, and David's like, there's a dog out there, and there's just a big white dog on a like chained outside, just barking.
Going berserk on us. Like
Like,
getting
oh,
at
this
the
is-
end of his leash, dude.
Gnarly, and there's like a motorhome with like lights on in it and some other like houses, and we're like, this can't be right. And so we just did like a circle and went back, and then I was reading the instructions on the Airbnb thing. It said like, do not go left and go up to like this other thing. We're like, oh,
Jesse, were you there on that trip that we went to Langley and got accosted by the guy when we drove onto the wrong way trying to get to Tuttle Creek?
I don't think he
I
was.
don't think
Was that just me and you?
I think it was just us. That was so gnarly. That was
You got accosted by like a prepper.
a
A landowner.
landowner who was very adamant about enforcing his private property.
He said he could shoot me.
I remember when this happened, we were like,
Did you say please don't?
I said, I'm sorry. And he said, you're not sorry. I was like, I'm sorry. He's like, stop saying that. And I was like, dude, I mean, look.
we had gone on
What
to
do you want me to say?
his property, and I remember, I think you went to go talk to him. You're like, there's a guy.
He
Maybe
kind
we
of
could
like
ask
stopped
him.
us. No, he like kind
But
of
you
like.
got out of the car. Because I
Yeah.
remember you having, I could see the
Jake
interaction
just
happening.
watched Davis get shot.
I could see the interaction happening. I was like, oh, this guy is angry because he was like pointing, and I was like, I could just tell that something
Oh,
was
yeah.
not right. And I could tell that you talked with them for a second, and then you like turned and you didn't run, but man, you fast walked back to the car, and you got in. And you said, "Turn around, go now!"
Yeah, it was shit.
And yeah, that guy was not chill.
Well, it probably would have been a similar scenario if you tried to enter the property of the white dog.
Yeah.
Well, we did. Well, no, this property is a private road to like a development back there, and I think that guy was not very chill about that because, like,
The
dude,
dog?
no, the
Oh,
guy,
Langley.
yeah, we barely did anything. We like drove a couple of yards up the wrong road.
People in the Eastern Sierra, the foothills of the Sierra Nevada, I think, are very into their private property.
Yeah,
Access is an issue. But so anyways, we stayed at this like small place in Colville. Wait, what? Ryan?
This story was in the.
No,
Are you
we're jumping around.
this was a tangent.
We're getting off on private property.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so we made it. The next morning we woke up and we drove across the border and only got mildly hassled by the Canadian Border Patrol agent. And then we got into Canada and we skied a very wet day at Red Mountain. It was fun, but it's a resort like right across the border. And it was raining in the parking lot and snowing at the mountain.
Nice.
Yeah.
And
Good. I mean, it was like powder, wet powder. It was like wet powder, but it was deep, relatively deep snow.
yeah.
It was like good skiing, wet and a little windy.
Not
Yeah.
to grab or like it stops you and buries you.
No. It was fun. It was definitely fun enough.
Like a bear powder day.
And
No, it was crazy though how much wetter that powder day was than the next powder day that we had at Revelstoke, and how much drier
totally.
that powder was.
But we were while we were skiing there, we were talking to on one of the chairlift rides with a local. I forget how the topic came up, but we were talking about
Okay, you gotta turn this. You gotta like take this away from your mouth when you're chewing.
tree well deaths, and he was like, someone died here last week in a tree well.
Yeah, that guy was funny. We were riding up the lift, and I was like, "Yeah, I kind of didn't want to go through the trees by myself because of I've been more aware of tree wells now." And the guy's like, "Oh yeah, these aren't the kind of trees that give you that like create tree wells." And I was like, "Oh yeah, whatever." And then and he's like, "Yeah, somebody died in a tree well here last week, though."
Man, I got more sense than to grind my shoes on someone's couch.
And I kind of I think he might have been like those specific trees. But I was also talking about like just skiing trees in general, because I feel like, yeah, that tree that you're looking at might not be a tree well tree, but it's so hard to tell, like so easy to come up on one that is big and branchy, right? And I don't think the people that end up in tree wells planned on it.
No.
No, yeah, totally.
Dude, a lot of people at Revelstoke though, they had zippers on their jackets on the zipper or whistles on their zipper pulls, which seems like a smart idea.
And people maybe more at Rebel.
Have zippers on it or whistles on it.
What?
Yeah, Abbey packs.
Abbey packs.
Yeah,
Mine-
but I don't wear an Abbey pack when I ski.
You know, though, a lot of people that ski Revelstoke do.
That's true.
It's crazy how many backpacks people either are currently wearing there or they show up with a backpack and then just leave it at the base of a lift. There's like a massive stack of like
what's the
backpacks.
point?
Well, I think
Got my airbag.
I think the point is that you might, I guess it's like having a walk around the mountain, but also that you might ski in the resort and then you might at some point be like, oh, let's go hike a little bit out of bounds. Let me grab my backpack with my stuff and go.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so we had a day at Red that was kind of wet but fun. And then we drove to Revelstoke that evening, saw a bald eagle on the way, cruising low over a river.
Nice.
That was awesome. And then took this sick ferry ride across the Columbia. But it's like a really wide section of the Columbia River, I think called like Arrow Bay or something like that. And I don't know, the ferry is cool. Ferries in Canada are awesome. They're free. You just drive onto them. There's no fanfare. And then it's like going across this like picturesque bay to get over onto the other side, and then it's a short drive from there to Revelstoke.
Wow.
And then skied Revelstoke for what, 3 days?
Yep.
3 days. Friday.
Saw the tour.
Yeah. Hiked.
Yep. Natural selection tour. Hiked out to there. That was tight.
Oh, so that morning, the first day that we were in Revelstoke, we were getting coffees like at the base of the mountain. And we knew that the natural selection tour was going on, and I was waiting for like a croissant or something, and I was like, that looks like Travis Rice. I was like, that's definitely Travis Rice. And then he was like talking to my other like competitors or whatever, and then they're like, Travis latte or whatever. I was like, I knew it. And he had like a teacup dog with him that was pretty adorable. But I didn't have the courage to do a pro call out in front of his wife or girlfriend.
That would have been great.
Yeah.
Dude.
He might have appreciated it.
Maybe.
Hey, Travis Rice, is that you? I'm so much better than you.
Dude, so seeing the natural selection tour terrain in person was crazy. Like, we watched it on TV, and then when we got under it, it was like, oh, wow, this is, like, crazy terrain. Consequential.
Consequential, way bigger than it looks like. It looks big on TV, and it's way bigger in real life. And then Matt knew somebody who almost won it. He was like, he surfed with them. It's like a friend of Eric's. Matt, one of Matt's buddies.
Oh, cool.
Who's like a pro snowboarder for 686 and was in the finals for men. We were like there, and Matt's like, I think I know that guy. I think I've surfed with him.
Gigi Ruff was in it.
Yep.
I got to. That was really cool. David had a moment where he was like, "It's Gigi's run," and David like ran to the front of it to like get like an up close view of Gigi.
I wanted him to give
down.
me his snowboard again. Gigi, remember me?
Do you have a pretty good view of it all going down from the base?
You have a really good view of the most consequential terrain. I
Yeah,
think there's
the
a bunch of
bottom
terrain
half.
at the very top where they built like little natural kickers, and they're doing stuff up there too. But you can't really see that from down low.
Don't
So you
they
can
do
hear
a-
the announcer. There's a screen that you can watch. So you can kind of see them, and then the announcer will be like, "There should be coming into view on this side," and then you look up and you're like, "Oh shit!"
And then
they're
there's
right
that
there.
final hit, kind of like at the bottom.
And
Right?
it's not a hit.
Like
It's like a whole collection of like cliff faces and stuff.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of a different part of the tour, like
They
where
do
they
it.
had like an actual like kicker or jump at the end.
No, this is like basically. I mean, they have options for where they can come down,
Yeah.
but it'll be like there's like a 60-foot cliff here, or like a 40-foot drop here. Or,
The Corbett's competition has a big kicker at the end of it.
Yeah,
Some of the natural selection ones have had them too, though. I'm pretty sure.
yeah, I think they do.
Corbett's is nuts.
Yeah,
That looks consequential even in videos.
yeah. Oh, I mean, the videos of this look consequential. Like some of the hits are massive cliffs, and then the landing drops into another cliff. So they're like double hits, and you better stick the first landing, otherwise you're going off another cliff. Like, however you get tossed,
Yeah, I wish we could have actually gone out there for the first day.
which seems
And-
way more.
Do you think this is terrain you could make it down if you avoided the cliffs?
Yeah, there's easier ways, like coming around the far side, where I think it would be really fun to just ski, and you wouldn't have to do anything, but you could get funneled into areas
where there's a
where
mandatory.
you would be screwed.
Even the chillest lines down that though seemed like they would be pretty spicy for me. Maybe not in that good of snow, but
Yeah.
they were pretty spicy.
I think the far like looker's right side
Yeah.
is like a black diamond. Like, I don't think it's that insane. I mean, there's things to pop off of. You could hit stuff still over there, but I think you could get down it.
Yeah. The far right side, that's not that bad, but like anywhere down, like even like the
center.
chiller spots, the chiller ways down through the center. But it was all skied out by the time we actually saw it in person. The first day, they were doing crazy jumps off of like the most consequential parts of the cliff face.
Then it kind of mellowed out.
I think, yeah. I think they just announced that they're going to have the first natural selection skiing event,
Yeah. Yep, I saw
which
that.
will be
Nice.
cool.
Well, they have the free ride world tour, right?
Yeah.
Kirkwood used to be a stop there. I don't know if it still is.
What's the area?
The Cirque.
The Cirque. That's right.
Skiing and snowboarding competitions, just I don't know, it's tough. They kind of don't do it for me like surfing competitions do. I try to tune into them.
I think I've never really seen tons even when I was living in Tahoe, but I think skiing and snowboard competitions for me are some of the most exciting. Ooh,
When was the last time you
I'm
watched
sorry,
one?
guys.
Oh yeah.
Oh. Dude, we might seriously need to like. Hold on, you guys. We need to. We'll be right back. We gotta open up some windows. You gotta understand, we're in like a bedroom here. It's 10 foot by 10 foot, and Jesse just unleashed 30 square feet of fart.
I haven't got it yet. It hasn't made its way over to this side.
Oh, that was a bad one.
Here, pull the top down. That works too. It stayed over on that side of the room.
That cleared David out.
Yeah. Do you have interest in watching any of that stuff, Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, skiing videos are super sick, and I mean, to compare them to surfing now, I think I might agree with Davey. It is more impressive watching surfing just because I kind of have a deeper.
I kind of like the format of surfing too, like the
Best two waves.
like the running heat format versus like going. I feel like I might lose a little. I think I lose a little bit of interest in skiing and snowboarding, like in between the attempts. You know.
A slope style competition, skiing or snowboarding, is not fun to watch. Or like, oh gosh, I think. Well, hey,
I mean, it is. It's super exciting. Don't get me wrong.
even a rail jam's fun to watch, and I don't even like rails.
I know. I'm not saying like in theory they're fun to watch, but in reality, I just watch them and I lose interest. It's not like surfing. I feel like surfing. It's like I like that it comes down to the wire at the end of a heat. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I think
definitely.
I think I tend to agree. I mean, I watch more surfing contests than I do skiing contests for sure.
Yeah, I'd rather watch surfing, and then once every 4 years watch the Winter Olympics.
Although I'll say that, yeah, when it comes at the Olympics, I'm way more interested in watching skiing or even snowboarding Olympic events than I am surfing Olympic events.
Yeah.
And hey, you know what though too? The WSL has done such a good job making like the production quality of like those good surf contests is so good now. The Natural Selection Tour was really good coverage too as well, but I feel like that was a step above a lot of the other contests I've seen before. Did you watch the Natural Selection Tour?
No, I did not.
You-
I mean, I'll watch. Instagram knows
Clips.
my algorithm pretty well, so like I saw a bunch of clips, but I didn't actually tune in live or anything.
You know what we did watch too? Strange Brew.
Nice, a
About-
classic.
Almost.
About 90. I watched
Win
90%
in
of it.
Rome.
I
Jake
think I
made
made
it.
it 75.
You know, I actually encountered someone at work that has seen that movie multiple times.
I feel like if you've seen it and liked it, you've seen it multiple times.
Matt made it 10 minutes.
One of those types of shows.
Yeah, Matt was not into it. Jason
stuck it
out
through.
of politeness, he said, but I'm not buying it. I think he liked it.
So Canadian of him.
I encountered a worker at my work that
Was into
loves
it.
Strange Brew, but generally you're met with like perplexed looks. People have no idea what it is.
I got to say also, potentially for me, because my ankle just did not feel that good skiing, one of the highlights, maybe not the highlight, but one of the highlights, the Revelstoke Water Park.
The water park?
It's like a community pool, or like an indoor pool, but they have like a lazy river, multiple jacuzzis, a sauna, a steam room, a mini bouldering wall above a pool, a diving board, and a 3-story slide.
Wow.
It's pretty sweet.
This is where you were staying?
No, like it's in town. You just go and you pay like $6.
And you went?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I probably went down the slide, I don't know, 20 something times.
I will say, water parks are a good sign of whether or not you take yourself too. I think an adult that doesn't like a water park, there's something
Not
wrong
my
with.
type of adult.
I didn't go.
Well,
Water park in the wintertime, hey.
It's indoors.
How could there's
It's
nothing?
epic.
Who could
It's-
not like a water slide?
I don't really like indoor swimming facilities.
The slide there, I have to say, I really like it. If I could get Revelstoke to do one thing, I think it would be to to bump the slide up to like a 5-story slide.
What if they put a slide down, kill the banker in the
That'd be
summertime?
sick.
Would you go there specifically for that?
Yeah.
Remember the water slide at Wild Rivers back? I've been to the new Wild Rivers, and they don't. Although there's some cooler technology and bigger bigger raft rides, they don't take the chances with their guests that they used to.
Yeah, I like that.
The edge and the ledge. You might end up with a bloody back on one of those
I
rides.
like a water park that takes chances with its patrons.
Remember the one that like you'd feel like you were not even like touching it as you were going down?
The edge and the ledge. One was covered, and one shot you down open, but you would catch air. It was not outside the realm possibility that if you came off at the wrong angle, you'd splat.
I really like the Cobra.
Ooh, the
one where you could,
Cobra
like,
was nice.
Go on like super high up on the
What about the blue one? Remember the
Congo
blue one?
Bombay
Rapids.
Blasters.
Bombo, yeah. And you all got on like a 4-person raft, and you could
No,
hold
that was
and,
Congo
yeah,
Rapids.
yeah.
and you could get stuck.
Uh-huh.
And
You'd get
you
stuck
could,
on purpose, and then you'd attack the next group
Yep.
and move them off the raft. And then sometimes the person in the tower would be like,
What about the one that you go down and it launched you at the end at like into the deep pool? Remember that one?
Oh yeah.
I think it's like kind of like dug into the ground.
Bombay
the Bombay
Blasters.
Blasters,
Yeah.
I think.
Maybe.
Yeah,
That was really fast.
Blasters. You would always try to like spray everybody in the
Go,
sand.
going to the new Wild Rivers could never live up to.
It's,
No.
Oh, I'll tell you one thing that I was not prepared for too, and maybe this is actually good, but the amount of chlorine they do at the new one is insane. I opened my eyes underwater at the wave pool for roughly
That's
10
your first mistake, dude.
10 seconds total, maybe, or opened my eyes underwater 10 seconds total the whole day between shooting down, and my eyes were the most chlorinated they've ever been.
Were
It
you
was
seeing
insane.
halos.
Oh, I was seeing huge halos. It's like, whoa.
I don't want to go to a water park constantly, but man, I really like the Revelstoke one. Matt and I had a competition to see who could. They only let you go one at a time because there's all these stairs you have to do to get up to the slide. So we had a timed thing to see how quickly you could do like a lap. It was like a wire finish that I barely won, but only because there's double railings, so I didn't have to use my foot that much. And they really are adamant that you only go feet first, but there's very few people to enforce it, so you can do whatever you want
Nice.
on the slide. So it was a highlight for me. And the final day there was probably the best day of skiing, I think.
Best day of skiing all year for me.
They got like 15 centimeters, I think, overnight. And
Felt like more even though.
yeah, it always does in Revelstoke.
Yeah.
They don't
Felt like 15 inches, to
need
be
that
honest
much
with you.
snow and-
Right?
Yeah. But the damage had been done for me, so I got like 2 runs in that day and then couldn't ski. And then Matt got injured, so he kept me company.
Oh,
just
no.
hung out at the lodge.
What
Matt
happened?
flipped.
Matt,
He went over the handlebars
Oh.
he
skiing.
had like one ski like go into a bump and like hyperextend his knee or something.
Ouch.
I don't know. He's putting essential oils on it. It'll be back.
That
He'll be
sucks.
back.
And then earlier in the trip, I think it was on the first day or the second day, I watched Revelstoke has like, it's an amazing resort, but it's really tall and really wide. So frequently if you get to like one side or another and you're trying to get back, you'll end up on these like long cat tracks that like traverse the mountain back to like get to where you want to go. And we were coming down out of these trees, and I think we were with the full group, but we were kind of spread out. And I was already down on this cat track, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw Jason, who's a snowboarder, like coming down, and I was too far away to do anything. But I just realized he was coming down out of these trees and didn't realize that this like powder drop that he thought he was going to do into powder was going to land him on a cat track, and it was like a 15-foot drop. And I like yelled, but I was far away, and it was already happening. And then I watched
Jason,
him-
no.
I watched
Yeah,
him do
go.
it, and then he kind of like landed, like I couldn't see the landing, but I knew that he landed on the cat track, and I was like, oh, that is going to be a major injury. Like going from maybe not 15, like 12 feet, but like onto just a cat track. And I was like, oh, and then like I came around and like he was fine, miraculously. And then Matt was coming. I was like, Matt, no, do not do that. Um,
And he did it.
no, he bailed. So that was how the trip started off. It's the biggest air I've ever seen someone do to flat on a cat track.
Ooh, and come out just totally fine.
Yeah. I think he landed like right on the edge of the cat track in like soft powder, but like flat. So he like fell, but it wasn't like as bad as like actually landing.
He got the best point of view footage of the powder day of tree
It's
skiing.
impressive though sometimes how much an angle, even a slight angle, can save you.
And soft snow.
But like I've overshot massive jumps where I've essentially landed in the flats, but not completely flat because you're still on a run anyways that's
Yeah.
going down, and I might be on the last 5% of the ramp. And if you can get the board under you sometimes,
Yeah.
I mean that's like landing in some scenarios from like 20 feet
yeah.
up.
I think speed sometimes can help too.
Yeah.
Like if think about it, if you were just dropped from 20 feet up
Yeah.
and like landed flat
You're
like
right.
that with no horizontal speed.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it is crazy what.
As long as you can get the skis or board under you and land it flat first, and then you can go to your rear. But if the majority of the impact is...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was, I think, overall a successful trip. Oh, I didn't tell you this yet, Davey. How crazy is this? They're not gonna do it, but I gotta, whatever. So we like, skied. The place that we were staying was cool. It had a jacuzzi like on the deck, which is awesome. And then we drove back on Monday or whatever and got on like a long travel day because it wasn't a direct flight. So we had to go to Seattle, but whatever. We returned the car. There was nothing wrong with the car when we returned it. And I got a email from the car people like 4 days later saying like, oh, the windshield was damaged. It's going to be $780 to repair the windshield.
Do you take photos of everything?
No.
Oh.
And so I immediately, it was sent like almost a week, like 4 days or 5 days after I returned the car. And so I was like, they're like, we're going to charge your credit card in a week. And I was like, no, you're not. I'm canceling that card. And then I reached out to Budget and I was like,
Oh, Budget's terrible.
yeah,
Kiara, if you're listening, which I believe you are, knows all about how bad Budget is. We had to dispute like a $300 charge and Amex wiped it off. They're terrible.
yeah. And so I reached out to them and I got someone, they're like, let me look into this, put me on hold. They're like, oh, we can't troubleshoot this. I was like, well, you have to give me someone that can because the car was fine when it dropped off. They showed me a picture and it did have damage on the windshield, but I was like, that was not there when we returned it. It was like this massive crack on like the passenger side. And I was like, I don't know what happened in the 4 days since I dropped off the car, but like that was not there when we dropped it off. And I was like, I have a receipt from you guys saying you already refunded me my security deposit, saying the vehicle was fine. And they're like, all right, we'll escalate it to somebody and they'll get back to you within 48 hours. And I haven't heard anything. And this was last week.
Good thing you canceled the card.
But so I canceled the card. And then Lizzie, if you're listening, she was like, your card probably has car rental, like insurance for that type of stuff. And I looked into it and it does.
Better to not have
But
to go
I didn't
through
want to
that,
have to worry about it. So Budget.
Yeah, Budget.
Oh, and then that's crazy expensive for a windshield. I replaced the windshield on the van like a while ago, and a big windshield on that van was like $380. $780.
They charged us, I forget what sort of junk fees they added on, but they added like additional $300 of just stuff we did not sign up for.
Yeah.
And was not on our. And when I called them, they were completely non-committal. They're like, "Nope, it is what it is," or whatever. I raged to Kiara, and she's like, "Oh, don't worry, I got this." And just Amex is amazing. If you dispute stuff with Amex and you're like a loyal Amex customer,
Yeah.
they will wipe stuff off just like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to abuse it
For sure.
No questions asked. Just I wanted to almost call back to the same agent and be like,
How's it
"How
going?
you like me now?
Yeah.
You guys don't have your money."
Yeah.
But I don't think they care.
So they tried to claw extra money from us.
Yeah, budget's really bad that way. I mean, it's kind of in the name.
Yeah.
I wonder. I might have photos too of the
I
windshield
take
from right before you
with-
dropped it off at the airport.
Rental cars, I think it's a great idea to before and after take a nice walk around video.
Yeah, I should have. But whatever, it won't affect
It's
us,
still
but-
better than Turo.
Yeah, I've had good experiences though with Turo.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, plenty.
I don't know. I feel like there's just more to go wrong
Yeah, and it's inconvenient. It can be inconvenient.
when you're not. It's not a company, really. It's just some
Yeah,
dude, and it's
the
kind of like,
Airbnb of vehicles.
take her easy up the hills. Don't go over 40. You might hear some rattling.
I don't think I've ever had a Turo that had that when I got in and used the brakes on a hill, I've been like, ooh, these brakes, they're okay, but they're not.
the
great.
steering wheel starts to vibrate.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, that just feels like they've loaned their car out a ton, and it probably doesn't get that much service, and it's like, oh, the brake should be looked at in this car.
have- That or you have.
Every time I've rented a Turo vehicle, I've thought about the brakes when I've been like going downhill like fast, and it's just like vibrated the car. But all in all, a successful.
You've
Trip
gotten
came-
your mission safely.
Yeah. And that might be my final backcountry or my final skiing of the season.
Really?
Quite possibly.
With the future forecast.
Yeah, I think with the way that my ankle feels, it's just not. You know, if it was going to be like epic, maybe, but I just don't think it's worth it for me.
Yeah,
Um,
should probably give it a break.
Yeah.
Unless there's
and I think it's almost kind of, I don't know, with this type of I guess it's with the type of season we've had and the way that my ankle feels, it's just harder for me to get like super, like excited this late in the season. I think
Especially
for
when you have
skiing.
flying too. It's
Yeah.
like that's even more. It's the only problem. It's so much more conditions dependent than skiing.
It is, but I think that is another component. We're coming into the best time of year where there's way more flyable days.
at this point you're just doing all your own flying.
What do you mean?
You're no longer doing anything with a guide.
No. I mean, I can go get, I don't know, kind of instruction, but not that much like, I don't know, not super detailed instruction. So I've just been going out to this place that is totally unsupervised, and there's no regulation out there. I was telling David, I had my longest flight recently, like, I don't know, 2 hours in the air, like
Dang.
continuously. And it was so sick. And then had some flying today that was the exact opposite of that. Absolute sled runs, like in the air for less than 2 minutes. Like just took off and just like right down to the landing zone.
Just wasn't the right conditions, or
Just not enough wind.
oh, okay.
So like went from super fun and just like,
So
this
is
is the
it
best
not
to, like,
advisable to fly in severely windy
no,
conditions?
it'd be terrible.
What would happen if you tried to launch off the top or like Arrowhead on like a Santa Ana wind
You
event?
get plucked. That's what they call it.
So
Uh-huh.
would you be risking your life?
Yeah. Oh, big time.
So
Where would you?
would you just get higher? You'd go
Who
higher.
knows where you'd be out of control. You might not even be like,
You'd be like a Chinese spy balloon
yeah.
Would you shoot like
cruising
get
at
ruined?
30,000 feet.
Yeah, your wing could get ruined. It might not even fly like a regular wing. It could just be like a thing of like nylon above your head and just like not flying, but just like acting as like a big drag and just like, you know, that probably you wouldn't even fly. You'd probably just get drug on. You'd be like being drug across the ground for who knows how long. It would be not good.
So the best flying conditions, I imagine, are a relatively windless day, at least
No.
to the
10 to 12 miles an hour.
Huh.
With like a little with gust higher, I think is perfect.
warmer days help.
Can, yeah, maybe then you can like thermal. I think But wind, yeah. You just need a little bit of wind, but not too much.
Rain,
But no wind is better than too much.
Is rain
Rain is
not
no
advisable?
Yeah. I don't think it's good. I don't know why. Well, it's not good because it's like a storm, potentially a storm, and you could get sucked up into clouds, which would be no good.
That makes sense.
So yeah, I think my ski season is is probably done. I imagine as you're probably.
Mine's 100% done.
But Ryan,
My
you're still living the
limited
dream.
season.
Yeah, mine's good until 4/21.
Ryan, we might come to June, before June closes.
Hell yeah.
What are you doing right after it closes?
I'll be up here until the 26th, and then I'm gonna drive down, and we're doing a patrol camping on the 27th.
Cool. Well, I need to get some backcountry days in before the season's over. So maybe we'll do some corn skiing.
Hell yeah, I'm so keen.
Ryan, are you still renting out your apartment? Or are you
Yep.
are you gonna continue to rent it out when you go to Florida?
No.
Oh, you're done.
Yeah, I'm gonna be done.
Oh, the end of an era.
Yeah, I'm gonna. If I do come back, which I do want to, it's going to be at a different location.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about the money you could save by not renting out that apartment for that 6-7 months, you could just get a nicer place next time you're there.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you utilized the jacuzzi much this season?
Oh yes.
Nice.
But Ryan, we're gonna keep all your sour milk though during the summer.
You know what I actually think, dude?
We need to ask you something, David.
I think it exploded because of it froze.
Harp? I don't think so, dude.
I think it exploded because it had been there left unattended for months.
Yeah.
That may be true because it was probably hot during those months, but
I reckon the months and months of hot weather probably did more to it than the non-existent freezing temperatures.
yeah, I mean, mine is a little skewed because
Because you've been
my
drinking
item-
sour milk.
like my gallon of milk froze in my refrigerator.
milk be doing that.
Good one.
Hey, how do you guys feel about playing some kart right now?
I'm definitely down to do that.
All right.
I think that's a great idea. It's a good segue.
So, Ryan, I don't think I feel up to.
We had David had a Herculean technical task last time trying to get Ryan in onto the commentary for this, and what would you put it at? Like 78% successful?
It was good. I think it was fun. I enjoyed hanging out. I just don't want to go through it all right now.
What I forget what the deal was, Ryan. You couldn't see like some of the screen.
Yeah, the half of the screen was not visible. I could see each player, but only certain areas of their screen.
It was technical broadcast difficulties. Ryan still did a good job providing color commentary.
Yeah,
It was fun.
I was appreciative for including me. I was glad.
Do you want to stream it period,
Sorry,
Dave, or
I
just
can't
want
get any
you want to
purchase.
play for the love of the game?
I know you're protective of these, but if you want to share,
I think you guys should just.
Well, then take it from me.
Say it again, Ryan.
I think you guys should stream live.
I'm sorry you got such jelly
Yeah.
hands.
I think we're gonna go. Maybe we'll go old school.
Yeah, no stream.
No
Let's do no
stream.
stream.
We've already given you guys some great content, some Avalanche recapping. No real statistics
And
provided.
the lip
but
smacking is only gonna get,
Wait,
dude.
is you guys offline now?
No, what's up? No, we're
Not
just-
me.
We're going.
Oh wait. I'll
Be
wait
careful.
till-
Don't say that, Ryan.
It's Jesse because Jesse chews with his mouth open, so the lip smacking is out of control.
Yeah, I'll wait till.
He thinks that he's exaggerating now, but it's not that different from when he's not trying to do it.
I think the first time this happened, this was like long before the TV show. We were playing poker, and it blew Matt's mind. The power that Jesse chewed with.
What can I say? I'm a passionate eater of a wide
Wait, so
variety.
Ryan, after you come down here for your patrollers trip, are you not going back? Are you ending it, and then are you going to kick it with us for a little bit in the spring?
I will be in town in May for a couple weeks.
Nice.
We'll have to get a poker game.
Yeah, at least one, maybe two.
Yeah.
This is my year. I feel it
Last year Jesse won the league,
by a
Yeah,
lot.
but there was no one close to him.
Hundreds of dollars, right?
Yeah.
I think,
Theoretically.
Jesse-
Allegedly.
I think it
Three.
went Jesse, Mike, and Chad in the top 3 spots.
That sounds right.
Chad won the final event, so he came up. He was not doing so great, and then he leapfrogged a bunch of people.
Times were tight. I was unemployed for a little bit of that stretch. I just had to make good poker decisions. And I
You're
think
right.
Probably cheated, dude.
statistics bore
feel
that
bad.
out.
We did feel bad for you.
All right. Goodbye, everyone. Bye, Ryan. It's been nice knowing you.
Goodbye to our
Guys.
loyal listeners.
Thanks for tuning in.